Gonna go ahead and pull out the Righteous Valkyrie and get our build up. Pump the entire field and swing in big. Let's see if they remember how the War Singer works. It's not a card in common play. If they only block with one, the other Valkyrie's gonna come to the board, and here it comes. This may be enough to draw the scoop, folks, as this will be a very scary moment for them when they see this card hit the field. They picked up Introduction to Annihilation. Hello and welcome to the Florida Men Gaming. I am your host Furion, and today we will be playing Magic the Gathering Arena. This season we are looking to work our way from Bronze to Mythic and have some fun along the way. But before we get started, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and like this video. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers and would love to have you along for the journey. For today's deck, we are going to be playing a Boros aggro deck based on Cleric life gain that I like to call Rollin' Thunder. This deck was inspired by a short that I saw on YouTube, making use of a card from the Dungeons & Dragons set, Delina the Wild Mage. This card is an intriguing card. It is a 3/2 that whenever Delina the Wild Mage attacks, choose a target creature you control, then roll a d20. If that copy of the dice hits a 1 to 14, you create one copy of a target creature that you control. If it is 15 to 20, you create one of those tokens, and you can roll again for a chance to create more. The clip that I saw made use of a Delina the Wild Mage replicating endlessly a Righteous Valkyrie, and this card is a terrifying card to have replicated, as when another Angel or Cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. If you get to 27 life, or 7 more life than your starting life total, all the creatures you get gain +2/+2. So what could end up happening is this Delina the Wild Mage copies a series of Valkyries, pumps themselves up past the starting life total, and each of those adds +2/+2, causing a one-turn swing and win. That's the goal. Now, to support that goal, we have 4 copies of the Lunarch Veteran to hopefully get down on 1. 4 copies of Barbarian Class to hopefully get down on 1 as well. The Barbarian Class, of course, trying to increase the odds of Delina the Wild Mage hitting that 15 to 20 range dice roll that will allow us to really replicate into oblivion our opponent. Additional cards we'll be playing to make this interesting, to say the least. 4 copies of the Angel of Unity. This is an alchemy card that whenever Angel of Unity enters the battlefield or you cast a party spell, choose a party creature card in your hand. It perpetually gains +1/+1. Now, unfortunately, Delina the Wild Mage does not fall under the party category, as it is classified as an elf shaman, so it's the only card in our deck that won't see any major benefit from this particular card and the strategy we're trying to play. Additional cards that we will be playing that will hopefully be part of the engine will be Voice of the Blessed, 4 copies, a 2 white card that whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Voice of the Blessed. When it gets to 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it gains Flying and Vigilance, and as long as it has 10 or more counters, it becomes indestructible. Now, in testing this deck, I did manage to roll the Delina combo with a Voice of the Blessed and a Lunarch Veteran on the board, and as each of the token copies hit, they all started to gain +1/+1 counters, and it spiraled wildly out of control to the point where the opponent scooped before we had even finished assigning counters. So this is a scary combo to roll. The other creature card that we will be playing is 4 copies of the Venerable War Singer. Now, if you're not familiar with this card, it is a really fun card. It is a 3/3 for 3 Spirit Cleric. Now, it has Vigilance and Trample. Whenever the Venerable War Singer deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of damage the Venerable War Singer dealt to that player. This card will allow you to continue to reclaim cards as long as they didn't get hit by exile effects and bring them back. If it swings through unopposed, you get a Righteous Valkyrie back to the battlefield. If it gets chumped, you have the potential with Trample to get through and maybe bring back a Lunarch Veteran, or if you get through for 2 damage or more, if you continue to pump it with the Angel of Unity, any number of factors, this card can spiral out of control and allow you to keep your battlefield stocked with the cards coming right out of your graveyard. Now, the version of the deck that you're seeing now is version 2.0. Version 1.0 had 2 copies of the Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort, which is a 0/3 for 3 defender with reach that gives all of your creatures haste when they enter the battlefield. The goal was to play that and not have to pump the Barbarian class all the way to level 3. That particular variation of the deck did not perform well at all. We ended up going 1-5 during our time playing. We also had 2 copies of Play with Fire looking to eliminate early threats, but didn't end up playing many games against decks that had them. Instead, we elected to replace those 2 different cards, the 2 ofs, with 4 copies of the Valorous Stance, which gives a target creature indestructible until end of turn, or can destroy a target creature that has power 4 or greater. It just seemed to be a better fit for what we were trying to accomplish, and ended up working out much better in our favor. At least it felt like it turned the luck around for the way that this deck was performing. The sorcery card that we'll be playing to support this deck is 4 copies of the Angelfire Ignition. This puts 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature that also then gains Vigilance, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste, along with Trample until the end of turn. Great way to just punch through defenders, start adding more Lifelink to pump up the Voice of the Blessed or put you closer to the threshold in which the Valkyrie gets pumped, and really spiral the game out of control. So, very fun deck list to try and get to work. It is a little bit of a janky combo that I don't know that it would be wholly effective in a pure ladder climb attempt, but if you get it to go off, it is a fun ride. So with that, we will see you in the gameplay. Alright, and we have found an opponent. This is a hand full of cards we like, but not enough mana to do anything with them. And we follow it up with another hand full of cards we like and not enough mana to do anything with most of them. Ascendant Pack Leader facing down a potential mono-green matchup here. That is an exciting pickup though, getting the mana we're going to need to get the Righteous Valkyrie down on time. And with the Venerable War Singer, we will be able to make some interesting blocking choices here coming up. Ranger class coming down, opponent getting their 2/2 Wolf in line with the Pack Leader. We'll go ahead and take that from him before it gets any bigger. Oh, and the mana is a-flowing after a handful of games where it seemed to be a little bit of a struggle. We are going to go ahead and take that. Opponent electing to pump the Ranger class. And the Tenacious Pup coming down. That Wolf's going to attack in for 3, and we're going to go ahead and just let it through. Oh, that is a pretty pickup. We're going to go ahead and play that Voice of the Blessed now. Pump that Valkyrie one more time. And swing in for 1, giving us a 3/3 defender. Let's see what the follow-on is for that Tenacious Pup. Old Growth Troll, that's a good pickup for them. Now a 5/5 Stompy creature. And another Tenacious Pup. We're going to be staring down the barrel of some very intimidating creatures very shortly here. We're going to go ahead and let the 4 damage through. Ooh, a Sundown Pass. That is a pretty card. Let's go ahead and drop in the Valkyrie. And start pumping the War Singer. This next turn will be a critical one. We'll have to see if they end up drawing a Blizzard Brawl or if they've had it the whole time. Oh, they tap all the way down, electing to take a look at the top of their library the whole time. And an Ascendant Pack Leader. That is huge for us. The fact that they are now going to be blocked. Where do they put the counter? They put it on the pup. We're going to go ahead and take the hit on the Old Growth Troll. Let the 5 damage through, and this next turn is going to be big. Lunarch Veteran down, giving us the pump one more time on that Venerable War Singer. This health gain should get the Voice of the Blessed in the air when the War Singer hits the battlefield. And it is time to swing in for some big money. Opponent now down to 13, us up to 17, 7/7 Vigilance Flying Defender on the board, 4/6 Righteous Valkyrie, 5/5 Venerable War Singer. They don't have anything big enough to penetrate, didn't draw the spell they need, and they're not going to be able to pump up high enough any of their creatures to penetrate. This is where we want to be. Not getting to play the combo we want to play, but we are definitely putting this game out of reach. Where do they put the 1/1? Putting it on the Pack Leader, so we are going to go ahead and block for maximum effectiveness. We'll let 2 damage through. And let's see if the opponent elects to stay in. Nope. There's the scoop, ladies and gentlemen. Red-white Clerics on the board. Alright, we have an opponent. This is an interesting hand. Mana not quite where we need it given the size of the creatures we have. We're going to go ahead and mulligan. A little better. We're going to go ahead and keep that, drop one of the War Singers, and hope to draw into the red mana as we draw for 3. Looks like we are playing a Clerics deck. We're going to be able to get our Lunarch down on 1, Angel of Unity down on 2, and hold up. Voice of the Blessed on time for the opponent. There's a play with fire, but nothing to play it with, so that is going to be unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and take the 1 health and pump the Valkyrie. No attacks, waiting for the opponent to make their next move. This could be their Valkyrie. There it is, Righteous Valkyrie down on time for the opponent. And there's the red mana we've been waiting on, so we are going to go ahead and play with fire, the Voice of the Blessed. Keep them from growing that bad boy any further. Swing in just to gain the 1 health. And let them take their turn. Sparring Regimen, that is a scary card. That is something that will allow them to do some very interesting things. Alright, so with that, we're going to go ahead and play down the Righteous Valkyrie and begin pumping the Venerable War Singer. Gonna hold up and pass the turn. Be able to block at least 1 more time this Righteous Valkyrie. This deck does have its upsides, but it does tend to struggle against the Cleric matchup. We have to hope to get our Delina Wild Mage down to the board soon and start the combo. And the Valkyrie is now up to a 4/6. We're going to go ahead and chump, hoping they don't have an instant speed pump spell somewhere in their hand. It is a less common thing in white. And the Professor of Symbology comes down to the board. There's another red mana. Gonna go ahead and drop the Angel of Unity down to the board. Pumping that Venerable War Singer 1 more time. And we will pass the turn. With that War Singer now a 6/6, we will get into a massive range. Oh, the Spellbinder's gonna take it away from us. But do they go for the War Singer or the Angelfire Ignition? They elect to take the Angelfire. I don't think they know that that just set us up for a very successful turn. Now the question is, how do they attack? They move in with the Professor and the Valkyrie. Now where do they put the counter? Good call on their part. I think they saw what we might have been trying to go for. We're going to go ahead and chump block. Oh, and there's the Delina. We're just going to go ahead and play that War Singer down and swing in through the Spellbinder. We'll go ahead and swing the Valkyrie in. Let's see what the... Oh, Fateful Absence from the opponent. That is unfortunate for us. Opponent just pouring on more health. applying 1/1 counters everywhere, this is going to spiral out of control quickly. Let's see if they go all in for the attack. And if they do, where do they put that counter? Back on the Professor of Symbology. 18 damage coming through. Gonna just let it through on this turn. And the Voice of the Blessed. Played that out of sequence. I should have played the Luminous Phantom first, but it is what it is. Gonna go ahead and swing, get that Voice of the Blessed growing. Now have a chump blocker to take at least one hit from their team. There's another Righteous Valkyrie. This is gonna spiral quickly. Oh, and another sparring regimen. I think this game is officially out of reach. Gonna go ahead and block the 10 damage. And we pick up the Valkyrie, but at this point it is too little too late, as there is nothing we can do to get past them. We're gonna go ahead and give them the GG. Alright, we have an opponent. Had a very disappointing run with this deck. Actually, in the time between games, took some time to retool a little bit and give us a better chance at finding some victory. We'll see what we're facing off against here. Blue and a Secret Door. Intriguing. Not a card I believe I've seen or can recall. This is a great series of events here, though, with the set of turns we've got. Allow us to get the Voice of the Blessed down after putting the Angel of Unity down and getting some serious pump design into this build. Gonna go ahead and hold up the Veteran. Opponent showing Dimir colors. We're going to go ahead and play the Voice of the Blessed immediately. Pump the War Singer. And swing in for 1. This 1 health will again continue to help pump that Voice of the Blessed, putting it into a very scary position. There's a Clone Crafter. Intriguing. With that, we're going to go ahead and play the Righteous Valkyrie. And once again, pump the War Singer. Gonna go ahead and swing in with both of our major creatures here. Continue to take threats off the board and build up the Voice of the Blessed. It is now a juicy target for a direct damage or removal spell. Bubble Snare. They have enchanted it permanently. Well, with that, their counter magic is now removed from their hand. And this is about to get big. I'm going to go ahead and swing in for big damage here. Opponent's going to have to make some decisions. Opponent now down to 2 health. And they scoop. Not entirely sure what their game plan was. It looked to be a very interesting hand design. Playing Esper, but playing cards I haven't seen, at least in the main meta. It's possible I'm just not well versed enough at this point, but, you know, I guess we'll never know. This deck built up a little too quickly, even while stuck on only 3 mana, and managed to roll its way through. We have another opponent. This is an intriguing hand. We're actually going to go ahead and keep this, put the Barbarian Class down on 1, and start playing out our Angels of Unity. Opponent could be playing mono black based on the sleeves. And they lead with an eye twitch, so far not taking away from our impression. Angel of Unity coming down, going to go ahead and pump the other Angel of Unity. It's possibly they already have an idea of what's going to be coming based on that Barbarian Class. It's possible they don't. This deck was, of course, inspired by a YouTube short where I watched the combo go off and thought that would be fun to try and recreate. So far, we haven't been able to effectively recreate it on screen. I did have one effective match during testing where, with a Lunarch Veteran on the board, I started to duplicate a number of Voice of the Blessed, and they spiraled wildly out of control. We're going to go ahead and play the second Angel of Unity and give ourselves a massive Righteous Valkyrie right out of the gate. 2 pumps going to go on it. And we'll go ahead and swing in, see if we can get 1 damage through. If not, we'll just take the Eye Twitch off the board and open up the lane. There's a Village Rites. So now they're going to pick up 2 cards out of their deck, plus whatever they decide to pull out of the sideboard. Could be Environmental Sciences, but it will be hard to say. Containment Breach. Could be facing Golgari. I haven't seen the green mana come down yet, but they could have it any time now. It is hard to say. Let's see if they elect to do anything with that mana this turn. They could be sitting on some form of targeted removal, but if they decide to wait till next turn, that will be too late as we have the Valorous Stance. We're going to go ahead and swing in and see if we can draw out a removal spell. No such luck. Go ahead and drop the Righteous Valkyrie. This will most definitely bait out any removal spells they could be sitting on. And there's the Infernal Grasp. Well, we always knew it was a possibility, but you have to make the plays if you want to have any chance of coming through with a win. Still no green mana for the opponent. They're probably looking to cast it off of a treasure from that Shambling Ghast. Let's see where they put that 2 damage. That's an interesting play for them. 2 mana available. We'll have to tempt them to play not green with the treasure by putting an Angelfire down and seeing if we can bait out some instant speed removal. Oh, they've lost their chance on that one. Oh, and there's another good pickup. Let's go ahead and put the Angelfire on our other Angel of Unity here and swing in. Now up to 27 health. 1 mana still available. Nothing we can do with it, but it's still there. These 2 Angels of Unity might just carry the day as the opponent is trying to be, I think, a little too cute with their control methods. They don't have enough mana yet to do a Blood on the Snow, and they don't have enough to put up a big enough meat hook to take us off the board. They're going to need something special here, and I'm not sure if they've got it, but we'll find out soon enough. There's the Infernal Grasp on the big Angel. Really need just 1 more mana so we can double cast the Angelfire into the Valorous Stance and just keep that Valorous Stance on hold in the event that they try and do another removal spell. There's a Den of the Bugbear, not the nature of mana that we were hoping for, but we'll go ahead and see if we can bait out that Containment Breach while swinging in here with the Angel of Unity. Go ahead and take that 2 health back that they borrowed from us, and hold up the Indestructible and protect ourselves from any potential further removal. Still waiting on the opponent to make a decision, contemplating their options. Electing to pass priority and swing into the attack phase. They're going to take their 4 damage, and let's see what they follow it up with. Do they elect to environmental? Sanguine Brushstroke. Interesting choice. 2 mana still available on the board for them, and we now have enough on this coming turn untapped to get the Angelfire down, and a Voldaren Bloodcaster. Alright, let's see. Another untapped red mana. Gonna go ahead and play out the Angelfire Ignition and swing in. Gonna get 3 damage through, and we still have Indestructible available, and with the mana that we have, we are well out of range of their ability to hit us with a meat hook, at least at the current stage. That Indestructible will protect us from a Blood on the Snow if they get any more mana or treasure down. Not going to be able to generate the mana they need on this turn, but they might elect to give themselves some additional health here with that Environmental Sciences. Next turn we will be able to Angelfire again, so they're going to need an aerial blocker if they want any chance. There's the Fellstinger. Looks like they are going to try and dig for it. There's the Exploit. This might be out of reach for them now. Opponent down to 3 health. If they don't have a... well, they're just not going to have it. There's nothing that they can draw at this point that will give them the game. Witch's Cottage. That'll pull a flyer out of their library. But nothing that can stop an Angelfire coming through. And that puts it on top of the library. It doesn't put it onto the battlefield. So they're trying to get to the Bloodcaster, but it's too little too late at this point. They need to find a way to draw. Oh, they had a Bloodcaster in hand. Good for them. Still going to be GG. They don't have a way to stop this coming through. We could even elect to be a little bit cheeky and just indestructible the Angel of Unity. But we're not going to take any chances here. We're going to go ahead and let it through and play it the smart way all the way home. Down to 18 health. Going to go ahead and put that Angelfire Ignition on the Angel. 6-8 coming in. Trample, Lifelink, Vigilance. Going to go ahead and hit him with the GG. Thanks for coming to play. And that, folks, is how you get it done. That little tweak, I don't know if it actually did anything major for us, as we hadn't really played the cards we made the adjustments with, but at least in terms of the luck that it seems to have generated for this deck, it has bounced us right back, going from a 1-5 start to a 3-5 current standing so far. Of course, we'll give you all the stats in the rundown in the post-game wrap. Alright, and we have an opponent. It's a good hand. We're going to go ahead and take a chance on it. It's all going to come down to whether or not we draw our 3rd mana. If we draw that 3rd mana, we're off to the races, and it all depends on the matchup we have as well. If we're lucky, it's a Clerics Mirror, but right now, it looks like some kind of Golgari Brew. There's the 3rd mana. That will be helpful, but we'll have to wait and see, because the red mana would be critical for our game plan at this point. So we're going to go ahead and hold back the Lunarch Veteran, keep the Angel of Unity on deck, and see what they play out next. Alright, black, blue, green. That green, of course, coming in tapped, so we're going to go ahead and play out the Valkyrie, draw another life, and swing in for 1. Opponent most likely going to... oh, they did not block with the eye twitch. Intriguing. Thought they would have used that as an opportunity to get into their sideboard. Now opponent has all 3 of their major colors on the board. Let's see how they elect to use them. Eccentric Farmer. Interesting card. I've only ever really seen this card played in the draft. Interesting way to fix their mana. There's the red that we're looking for. And we're going to go ahead and drop the Angelfire Ignition onto the Righteous Valkyrie and swing in big. That right there is going to put us up to big range for the rest of our hand. We'll see if they have a board wipe or anything that can target the Righteous Valkyrie in a meaningful way, but with the Venerable War Singer sitting on the side here, that only has to swing in once to put the Valkyrie back on the board, so no matter what they do, they can take the Valkyrie off now, but it won't stay off for long. Oh, and another Valkyrie. Whoa, that is not good for them. We're going to go ahead and just play the War Singer down, let them see that their fate is pretty well decided at this point. Swing in for 1 and pass turn. Let's see if the opponent has anything. 4 mana available. They could play another Binding the Old Gods. 5 mana now available, but do they have enough? be honest, folks, I just don't see a clear path to victory here unless they pull out something really sneaky. Meathook Massacre would only take off the Angel of Unity and the Lunarch, and then also wipe out their Eccentric Farmer. Aghanim's Awakening, bringing out another chump blocker. And a Death Bonnet Sprout, so they're just trying to fill the field with meaningless junk. Gonna go ahead and pull out the Righteous Valkyrie, and get our build up. Pump the entire field, and swing in big. Let's see if they remember how the War Singer works. It's not a card in common play. If they only block with one, the other Valkyrie's gonna come to the board, and here it comes. This may be enough to draw the scoop, folks, as this will be a very scary moment for them when they see this card hit the field. They picked up Introduction to Annihilation. Now up to 45 health, putting ourselves even further out of range. Don't have enough mana to protect against the Introduction to Annihilation, but it's not going to do enough for them either. Let's see if they have a board wipe. Meathook Massacre for 5. Didn't do enough. And they scoop. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the scaling of this type of deck. They can get out of hand really quickly. And with that, we will see you in the post-game wrap. And we're back. Here's the post-game wrap. So upon further review of how this deck performed, I will say that the initial deck set that you saw when we played our first couple of games here, we had 2 copies of the Tuk Tuk Rebel Fort, 2 copies of Play with Fire. For whatever reason, those cards never really materialized. The deck had a hard time performing effectively, and we ended up just losing more than we won. We ended up going 1-5 with that particular configuration. Once we made adjustments, the deck performed remarkably well. We just subbed out the Rebel Fort and the Play with Fire for 4 copies of the Valorous Stance and went on a 3-0 tear. So overall, our performance for the night on this particular deck was 4-5. But with that Valorous Stance, it really kind of leveled our playing field, gave us a lot more hope against some of that targeted removal we ended up facing. And when we got clever with how we manipulated and held up our spells, it really allowed us to stabilize what seemed to be just a downward spiral of play. I don't believe I really ever hit effectively the Delina Wild Mage combo I was hoping for when I built the deck, but again, it's a fun jank strategy to try for. It give you a little bit of fun to look forward to during your gameplay footage and sessions. And you know what? This game is all about fun. Is our goal to get to Mythic this season? It is. But candidly, I've never made it past Platinum when I've tried. I haven't tried all that hard. I just went to Platinum and said, those rewards are good enough for me, and stopped. So this season is going to be a challenge as we try and test our limits and see if we have what it takes while playing decks that aren't necessarily completely meta, mono white or mono green or mono black archetypes. None of the blue-white control decks. We're trying to break through while having some fun and doing something a little out of the ordinary. Will we probably play some version of those decks at some point as we try and test different things and see how we perform against what's currently in the meta? Yeah, we will. But, along the way we play fun little decks like this that have the potential to spiral out in a very unique and entertaining way. So, until the next time, I'm Furion from the Florida Men Gaming, signing off.